We're in a new era, obviously, and among the many realignments taking place in American life, we just spent 25 minutes telling you about the one going on Wall Street tonight. There is also a struggle underway, quite an intense one, over what the Republican Party represents going forward. There are a lot of people involved in this. We want to single out two who represent poles in the party, opposite ends. One is Congresswoman Liz Cheney of Wyoming, that state's only member of Congress, who is a neoconservative, represents the older Republican Party back during the Bush years, probably more precisely. At the other end is Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida with a very different outlook. The question is, how much power in the new Republican Party will Liz Cheney have? Well, today, Congressman Matt Gaetz traveled to the state of Wyoming, went outside the state capitol there, joined by hundreds of protesters who do not believe that Liz Cheney should be one of the people running the Republican Party going forward. What is this about exactly? Congressman Matt Gaetz joins us tonight to explain. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. And I just want to say at the outset that this is not anything against Liz Cheney personally. I know Liz Cheney. I like Liz Cheney. I think she's smart. So it's not personal. It's philosophical. And I guess the question is, how is someone who is so closely aligned with, say, Bill Kristol, very sinister person, and many other neocons who have so hurt this country, how is that person so close to the top of the leadership of the Republican Party tonight?
Well, because inside the Beltway of Washington, D.C., the establishment has concentrated their power, and now they want to be able to reconstitute the Republican Party in their image. My theory of the case, Tucker, is that if we only fight the neocons in Washington, D.C., then they're on their home turf. So I think we need to go out into the country. We need to inspire a positive populism, and we need to stand against these America Last politicians who are a lot like Congress as a whole. Owned by foreign interests abroad, special interests at home, and then at times deeply unpopular. I saw a poll that came out yesterday that had Liz Cheney at 10% approval rating with Republicans in her own state. Now, by contrast, Muammar Gaddafi had a 13% approval rating in his final days, and so it's a bit ironic that Liz Cheney is less popular among Republicans than the Arab dictators that she wants to throw out of office.
So here's the confusing part. And again, it's not personal, it's philosophical. But if you were to poll Republican voters on their beliefs, they would come much closer to yours than to the beliefs of Liz Cheney and Bill Kristol. So why would Kevin McCarthy, the leader of Republicans in the House, back Liz Cheney? Sincere question.
Well, of course, to be able to maintain power, Tucker. I don't think that there's any love lost between Kevin McCarthy and Liz Cheney, but if you're a member of the establishment and the leadership, the most dangerous concept in the world to you is that anyone in the leadership could be removed by virtue of a vote of the membership. Kevin McCarthy needs to hold a vote on Liz Cheney, and if he doesn't, the Republican conference is a total joke. More than half of the Republican conference has said that this person does not speak for us. Now, you and I both know the Republicans basically have no power in Washington, D.C. right now. The only power we have is to communicate. And if the person we've designated to communicate for us as the conference chair doesn't have the support of the majority of the conference, it is a total fiction that you've created regarding the entire structure of leadership.
Interesting. I mean, now that we're all defending democracy, a vote seems like a good idea since voting is democracy. So I hope you get one. Matt Gaetz, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.